What's up, everyone? Christian, DukeStrengthAddicts.com, brought to you courtesy of Muscle Gels, topical muscle enhancement gels available at MuscleGels.com. This is Andro Hard, Andro Shred. Check them out today. All right, so a lot of people have been asking me, what happened to Dennis the Big Bad Wolf? Well, I mean, he was off the stage for a while. He had a neck injury, which really sidelined him. A lot of people are thinking, did Dennis pull a Kai Green? Was he doing movies? Was he doing ads? Was he, working on a supplement company? No, he had a neck injury. You know what I mean? And the neck injuries are very, very difficult to come back from. Now, was this the Dennis Wolf of old? Absolutely not. I mean, age is also factored in. He did work with Dennis the Menace James for the entire prep, as opposed to 2 weeks out of the prep, as in years past. And a lot of people thought that added attention would have helped. And who's to say that it didn't? I mean, the reality of the matter is this guy's been off the stage now for at least a couple of years. You know what I mean? So that's a factor. Number two, muscle memory is great, but it doesn't come back just like that. I mean, last year, he could have done the Mr. Olympia. He certainly had enough time to do Mr. Olympia, but he chose not to and instead opted for the Arnold, thinking maybe the extra few months would help him regain his physique of yesteryear, his physique of old. And unfortunately, that just was not the case. I think that competitors that have been off the stage for a while, and this is something that I think applies to just about everyone, should really not come back to the stage either for the Mr. Olympia or for the Arnold Classic. I think that, competitors that are making a comeback, no matter how big they once were, should really start out with baby steps. They should start out with a small competition, maybe somewhere around the world, maybe even right here in the United States or Canada, but something that's not on the level of an Arnold Classic or much less a Mr. Olympia, where honestly you're competing against athletes that have been preparing all year, every year, without skip, without fail. I think it's not only a little ambitious, I think it's a little unrealistic to come back at an event such as that. Unfortunately, we see it time in and time again. Athletes think, whether it's, inflated ego, whether it's, some sort of misguidedness, whether it's their coaches or their corners that are telling them to do so. We've never really seen an athlete make a comeback at the Mr. Olympia or the Arnold Classic, save for Arnold in 1980, which again was not his best outing and really wasn't the way to go out personally. But, a win is a win. But we haven't seen anyone come back to either the Arnold or the much tougher Mr. Olympia out of retirement or out of a hiatus or back from an injury and win those competitions in a long time. Again, if I'm wrong, leave a comment down below and correct me, but I just think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea, and we see it time in and time again. And unfortunately, Dennis Wolf really did not bring the physique that we remember him bringing. He's down in size. The symmetry's a question. I mean, one arm's bigger, one arm's smaller. Again, it's not the Dennis Wolf that I remember. And he didn't even make the top 10 at the Arnold Classic. I mean, and the Arnold Classic is a tough show, second only to the Mr. Olympia. And this year's Arnold Classic, I think, arguably was one of the greatest Arnold Classics of the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, there was a lot of people there, including a former Mr. Olympia, including a top 3 Olympian, including a defending champion. So it was a very, very tough lineup. But to not make the top 10 for a guy that's won the Arnold Classic and a guy that's been in the top 3 in the Mr. Olympia is certainly not the return that I think Dennis the Big Bad Wolf had envisioned.